The Iowa Hawkeyes head to Market Square Arena, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Gamble. Yes!
Iowa is going to Phoenix.
Iowa's the Big Ten champion. Iowa wins the Big Ten tournament. It's good. It is good.
Wieskamp, his shot at the bar. It goes in!
Luka Garza, 33 now. Remember, he had 44 at Chrysler.
Bohannon, way outside, launches the shot. Big time onions!
And a dunk by Keegan. And he dunked Gillis right to the floor with him. And the Hawkeyes are Big Ten champions.
An old-fashioned stare down.
Sanford! Who got it? This has really happened! Starts his running three.
Impose your will, the servant mentality, but we'll always play defense.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bench Mob Carver. I am your host, Aaron, and today we are going to be looking across the entire roster of this year's squad. And we're talking top to bottom, everyone. Who are they? What's their strengths? What's their weaknesses? What's their projected role on this team? And who is their NBA comp? And what rating would I give them if there's like a college basketball game coming out? I touched on it a little bit in the debut show, but I really want to dive deep into who these guys are and what can we expect from this roster under Coach McCollum. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the meat and potatoes. I'm going to start more at the bottom of the roster. Guys, you know, the young guys, the guys who aren't going to get a lot of PT this year, but a lot of these guys are young. In a couple of years, maybe they could be taking these next steps and at the very least be a solid role player. So let's start with the guys who aren't going to get a lot of playing time. And let's start with Peyton McCollum. So as you can tell from the name, Peyton McCollum is in fact Coach Mac's son. And I know that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. A lot of people are like, oh, we have this again. And I understand your like pushback a little bit just because of like what the Hawks have done in the past with we had it was Licklider's son's name. Was it John Licklider? Then of course you had Patrick and Connor, and you know what, Patrick and Connor were at least like to the level where you were like, hey, he can be a role player on this team, and that does just fine with us. Yeah, John Licklider. I don't want to say anything bad about people, but probably shouldn't have been playing D1 basketball. With Patrick and Connor, could have been solid role players. Should they have played over the Murray twins? Probably not. But it's not even with basketball. Like, you know, in football, we've had times where even the coach's son was a coach and great offensive line coach, but just maybe shouldn't have been an offensive coordinator. Maybe shouldn't have been calling plays. Anyways, I'm not going to mess with that too much. Peyton McCollum, I do not think will be playing a lot, but I think he can be a good practice guy. From the clips I've seen, he has done really good in that aspect of just like, you know, pushing the other guards, making other guys better, and just the hustle's there for sure, and I respect that. So yeah, Peyton McCollum is the obviously son of Ben McCollum, and he's a smaller guard. I think I have him listed at 6'2", 180 pounds, out of Maryville, Missouri, for pretty obvious reasons. I played at Waukee last year, and yeah, some of his I'll start with the weaknesses so we can end on the strengths. Some weaknesses of him is just a freshman jump to the Big Ten. That seems pretty steep, and you know, he played on a good team in high school, and I think every freshman kind of has that. We're like, oh shoot, like this is a entirely different level. But I don't think he'll be in the rotation, and I think even by senior year, he still might not. But I think he's one heck of a practice player, and I think the hustle's there. His NBA comp, I kind of rethought this whole thing. I have a whole sheet of it, but just when I take a look at his like player profile, which a lot of it I did take. At least I read the article from Tyler Tashman of the Des Moines Register, so shout out to him for that. Wrote that back in June. I can kind of see him as like a TJ McConnell light, just a scrappy guy. He can provide some depth for us eventually, and yeah, he's more of like an emergency guard option. If a couple guards go down, he'll have to be in. I think he can be somewhat of a playmaker if he comes in. Hopefully we don't get to that point, but that's kind of where I see him for his role. Some of his strengths. In high school, he averaged 13 and 5 on a 41% three-point shooting. So he is pretty much an all-around player, at least at the high school level. He's got a high IQ. He's tough. He's coachable, especially with that coach. And not gonna lie, I think if it comes down to like, hey, our last guard has to bring the ball up, I think we're better off than a lot of teams would be. So yeah, this is just kind of an all-around guy. He doesn't have like a super big weakness. It's just he doesn't have a super big strength at the D1 level quite yet. We'll see what he develops into. That's kind of what I'm thinking for Peyton McCollum. Next up, we have Jacob Koch, one of the two returning guys from the McCaffrey era. And what is it with Jacob Koch? Let's start with his weaknesses. I'd say he's got a pretty limited ceiling compared to who else is coming in. He's not going to go out and be our star player by any means, and hopefully by his senior year he can be a rotation piece for us. He's just kind of a little bit more of that guard depth that we have, and he can still be a good leader in the locker room. Obviously, one of the two guys returning from last year. So yeah, I think that he could be good in that aspect of just like, hey, I've been in Iowa City now for 2 years. Everyone else has been here for like 6 months. So yeah, I think that's a good thing that he can have. His NBA comp, I would think, kind of like a Joe Ingles light. Not flashy. He's not gonna make the SportsCenter top 10, but he's kind of a glue guy who he can make the right plays. He can shoot his shot, and he's a decent shooter too. That's just kind of what I think of for that. Strength of his, obviously, he's familiar with the program. He's familiar with Iowa City, more than anyone else is, except maybe Cooper Koch. He's a good glue guy, just kind of a steady hand here, and yeah, helps bridge the old with the new coaching era. And he's a good shooter too. He can shoot the ball, and I think if anything, if things get dire and we have to bring him in this year, he's going to knock down some shots, and I think you can count on him to do that. So that's Jacob Koch. Next up, we have Tate Sage. He is let me do some introduction work for Jacob, since I forgot to do that too. He's a 6'2", 285-pound point guard he's a sophomore from Iowa City, played Iowa City West. Joe Ingles, maybe like a Malik Beasley type. Anyways, now we have Tate Sage, and let's see if I can find Tate Sage is 6'7", 210 pounds, small forward. He's a freshman out of Weatherford, Oklahoma. And what do we really see him as? Well, some of his weaknesses, still raw, obviously still a freshman. His role this year is pretty unclear, but he was a pretty solid prospect coming out of high school. So I can trust that he can grow into that, into at least a rotation piece down the line. But yeah, developmental is really the main thing here. Maybe he'll play a little bit more sparingly when we get to like blowouts and games that aren't too close. He is pretty versatile, and I think his NBA comp could be like a young rookie era Gordon Hayward light. Just very versatile, smooth wing. Yeah, some of his strengths, obviously, have the good size and a good length for a wing. Obviously, it's 6'7" in college, 6'7". in college is a really good size for that position. He's got a pretty balanced skill set. He can shoot the ball, he can defend, he can rebound, he can do a little bit of everything for you. We're hoping by junior, senior year he can do a lot of that for us. But yeah, he's more of a long-term building block of this program, and yeah, we definitely hope that he can reach those heights, and I believe he can. Next up, we have Joey Mattioni. So about him, if I can find what I wrote down for him. There he is. So Joey is a 6'9", 220-pound power forward. He's a redshirt freshman out of Overland Park, Kansas. He transferred from Drake with Coach Mack. And yeah, some weaknesses in his game. He's got a little bit of an offensive upside, sorry, I cannot talk this morning. He's got a limited offensive upside. And I can kind of see him as more of a depth piece, at least early on. His current self, obviously, he's a redshirt freshman. He's got 4 years to grow. But yeah, kind of is what I think of when I think about his role is like kind of a bench front court option. Again, more of a developmental guy. We got a lot of young guys on this team, so that makes me feel good about that. Kind of his NBA comp I can think of is, I don't know, maybe Naz Reid, maybe like a Kyle Kuzma. Just a good shooter as a big. He brings good energy and with his inside presence. So I'm pretty confident with that. And some strengths of his, he added 25 pounds. So like he's fully embraced his forward status. He's a solid rebounder. He's familiar with Ben McCollum's system, and I think that's things we can count on Joey for. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe like a Naz Reid, Kyle Kuzma type, where it's just like, hey, he can go in there. He can maybe more Naz Reid than Kyle Kuzma now that I think about it. But he can get in there. He can bang with the bigs. He can shoot the ball. He can rebound. We're just hoping that by his junior, senior year, he can do that at a Big Ten rotational level. Next up, we have Trevin Urach. And, well, the Iowans here should know a lot about Trevin Urach. He's a 6'11", 250-pound center. He's a freshman from West Des Moines, Iowa. Obviously, he played at Valley. And Iowa Mr. Basketball. Like, we did nab Iowa Mr. Basketball. I think he, played 4A. So that's... Look, I'm a 1A guy, and I'll always defend 1A basketball. But when you're doing that much stuff at Class 4A, like, I'm pretty confident you can play in the Big Ten. He was going to go to UNI, so sorry, I'm just feeling a little under the weather this morning. But yeah, we did steal him from UNI. So shout out my cousin Jesse, UNI grad. Sorry we took him, but he's good. He's real good. He's just fresh. He's just a freshman. He's young still, so he's going to have that adjustment of like, hey, welcome to the big leagues, welcome to the Big Ten. He's got strength. And he just kind of needs to polish that. He's not the most coordinated. Like in high school, he was pretty coordinated, but it's just, again, that adjustment curve getting into college basketball. Can he be coordinated enough for that? And I think over time he will. Again, he's more of a developmental role. He will have some spots where he needs to come in just because we don't have center depth very well. So we're gonna have to throw him into the fire at least a little bit this year is what I'm guessing. His NBA comp, I'm guessing, is gonna be like a Jaren Jackson Jr. light. He's a big with he's got good size. He's got some stretch big opportunities. I think he can kind of shoot the ball. But I think his defense is going to be good. Just a big body in the paint is kind of what we're looking for with Trevin. So yeah, some strengths of his, obviously his size and his physicality, and especially down low. He'll bang with the bigs down low, and that's kind of what we're looking for out of him. He's got a pretty versatile skill set, more of a modern big, but also with that kind of throwback big vibe to him. So he can add a little bit of rim protection, a little bit of stretch ability. It's just, can he do it at a Big Ten level is really the main thing here. And I don't know about this year, but I'm thinking by even sophomore, junior year, he should be able to do it at a Big Ten level. And heck, he might even be starting for us in a year or two. So yeah, I think he's got big upside, and we're excited to see what Trevin can do. Now we got the young kid, Trey Thompson. So Trey Thompson is a 6'8", 220-pound power forward. He is a freshman, should be a senior in high school right now, but he's a freshman out of Greenville, Tennessee. We did beat out Tennessee and Purdue to go get him, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah, so we'll start with the weaknesses. It says he has some limited lateral quickness. He might be a little bit of a defense liability, at least early on when it comes to switches. Especially when it comes to like the quicker Big Ten wings and guards. The thing about him though, I don't know if athleticism really should be too big of an issue here. It's just how stinking young he is. I mean, the kid was born in 2007, a month away from being born in 2008. These kids are getting so young. And so, yeah, he just kind of needs to prove that he can guard these quicker Big Ten wings. I think he can. But it definitely is a question early on in the season. So his projected role, I expect him to be an offensive weapon at power forward. I think he'll be right at the end of the rotation right away. He might be our seventh. I don't know if Coach Mack's going to go to 8, but 7th or 8th man on this team, and which is crazy as someone who should be a senior in high school right now. But yeah, I can see him getting some minutes in a rotation early on and throughout the season. His NBA comp, honestly, I think is somewhere between like a Cooper Flagg and a Tobias Harris. He's just like think of like an athletic Tobias Harris, like obviously college level. It's not the skill level of him, but like Tobias, his player comp when it comes to style is kind of like this athletic Tobias Harris. He's versatile. He's a smooth scoring forward. He can stretch the floor, and you know what? Yeah, let's just get to his strengths because that's really what I'm going to be talking about here. So he's a good face-up forward. He can shoot the ball. He shot it really well. So I'm not going to have too many questions when it comes to that. He's good in pick and pops and some ghost actions. I think that's going to be his bread and butter here early on, at least. Very, very athletic. He had in the spring he only played 8 games, but he had 22 dunks. Of course, that's going to be a little harder to come by in the Big Ten, but you know the athleticism is there, and I think he can do it. I think there's going to be times where you just go, holy crap, where did we get this kid? These white boys are taking off, and it is insane. Just like, you know, with the Cooper Flaggs and the Mac McClungs of the world, I think Trey Thompson might be kind of in that second breath of it. He's got a good basketball IQ. He's a good passer. He's a good cutter, obviously, if he's getting to the rim that much. And so I think he might have the highest upside of anyone on this team. Just like, is he even 18 yet? I don't even know if he's 18 yet, and he just outplays his age so much, and which is kind of why he's a freshman this year. But yeah, I think give it 2 or 3 years. Hopefully he hasn't gone to the league by then. But give it 2 or 3 years, I think he'll be our guy. Now we have Cooper Koch. Let's talk about Cooper Koch, the other returning guy from last season. So has experience under Coach McCaffrey and under Coach Mack. So when it comes to Cooper Koch, let's introduce him here for a second. He is a 6'8", 220-pound small forward. He's a redshirt freshman out of Peoria, Illinois. And start with some of his weaknesses. So he did lose a little bit of developmental time due to a collapsed lung last year. Obviously a scary thing, and we're not going to blame him for it. But yeah, he's still adjusting to just college level pace and physicality. And honestly, I'm not super worried about that, but it is something to bring up. His role this year I expect to be like a stretch wing. He's got a lot of upside though. He could develop into one of our main guys here, give it a year or two. Yeah, I think his NBA comp would be like a Harrison Barnes, especially like the Warriors Harrison Barnes, where it's just he's going to be a two-way guy for us. He's got good size. He's got good shooting. yeah, just a former star, mental hardship, and now he's a redshirt freshman, so we still could get years out of him. And yeah, he could be one of our main guys here. Give it a year or two. His main strengths is obviously he can shoot the ball, especially at his size, 6'8". We got good size on this team. I'm out with the bigs, but like with our wings and our guardsmen, some good size here. He's got a good feel for the game. He's a skilled wing scorer. Yeah, he don't be surprised if he can put up 10, 12 points a game this year. Wouldn't be shocked. Um, and yeah, again, he's got have 4 years left of this if he really wanted to. And yeah, he's got really good upside. I'd say outside of Trey Thompson, he's probably got the most potential at his last year here. So yeah, Cooper Can. He's kind of our bridge between Fran and Ben. Next up, we have Isaiah Howard. And with Isaiah Howard, he is a 6'5", 215-pound shooting guard. He's a sophomore out of Plattsburgh, Missouri. He also transferred here from Drake with Coach Mack. And so a weakness in his game is just he hasn't really gotten the consistency down yet. He shot 31% from deep as a freshman. He's still pretty raw offensively. There's still a lot there to develop. And so yeah, there's just some things there that could be cleaned up. And yeah, his role on this team I expect to be more of a bench wing. He might break out, maybe able to bring a spark offensively to this team. Yeah, it's just he's gotta get that clicking first. His NBA comp I would see as kind of a Cam Reddish, honestly. Maybe like a Kelly Oubre Jr. Just a versatile guy, just a lot of upside, and I think defensively he can kind of help us out in that aspect. But yeah, here's some strengths of his. He's an athletic scorer. He's shown some flashes. He had 21 points in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament game. He's a capable three-point shooter. He just needs to get that consistency down. He's not there quite yet. And defensively, I really like what I'm seeing out of him. And the thing is with this whole roster, I think defensively, everyone could be at the very least decent on the defensive end. And I think that's just what the Coach Mack effect brings. But yeah, outside of that, let's get to Cale Combs. So Cale Combs is a 6'4", 205-pound combo guard. He's a junior out of Nixa, Missouri. He transferred here from Wyoming and then Drake. And yeah, also followed Coach Mack here. So some weaknesses of him, he does have a limited track record. He only played 13 minutes a game at Drake. So, when you're a backup guard at Bennett starts, you're not going to get a lot of playing time. That's just kind of how it is. But, he can play the two as well. So just not a lot of PT for him so far. So it's hard to tell. Shooting consistency, just like Isaiah Howard, the consistency isn't really there fully yet. And was he still I think he's a sophomore? He's a junior. He's a junior. So yeah, so he's still got time to grow into that, just not as much time as others. So I think the big thing for him this year is just proving it. He's going to be our backup point guard most likely. So whenever Sturts is out for his 2 minutes a game, he'll be in. But also he can play a little bit of a two guard too. So I'd say his NBA comp is think of like a DeLon Wright, like a Monte Morris. He's not gonna he's not gonna turn the ball over a lot. I think you can count on him for that. He's gonna be steady, and yeah, some of his strengths. He's a solid ball handler. He's not gonna get caught up too much. No one's gonna strip him very much. And if Sturts for some reason goes down for 5-10 minutes, I feel super comfortable with him getting into the game and at least calming the storm if things get to that. Yeah, low mistake player, and he's a bit of a slasher. He's got some athleticism on him. I think he's just a steady hand, and I think that's kind of what you need on a good team. Next up, we have Cam Manyow, and with Cam Manyow, he's a 6'9", 250-pound center. He's a junior out of Kansas City. He transferred here from Wyoming and then Drake, so along with Kale. He also followed Coach Mack here. So the thing about him is not a lot of shooting range. Don't expect him to throw up any shot outside the paint. And he's not a great free throw shooter. There's not really much to say here. That's just his two big weaknesses, and it's pretty obvious. His projected role, I think he'll probably be our starting five. At the very least, he'll be a key rotation big. He'll be the guy who does the dirty work, and I think every team needs that. When I think of his comp, I think of like a Kevon Looney, a Clint Capella, just a smart, rugged rebounder, defender, screener. And I think he'll do that at an elite level here in the Big Ten. So yeah, his strengths, elite rebounder. He averaged almost 12 rebounds per 40 minutes. He's a tough interior presence, screen setter, reliable paint scorer. You can throw lobs to him. He can post up and he'll get you some points there. And just his motor is always on. And that's what you love to see out of your big. And so yeah, Cam Manial, think of Kevon Looney, think of Clint Capella. That's kind of what we're dealing with him there. Next up, we have Tavian Banks. So with Tavian, he is let me get to him. 6'7", 215-pound small forward / power forward. He's a senior out of Kansas City, Missouri. He transferred here from Florida State and Drake. So also follow Coach Mack here. So some of his weaknesses, he's not a shooter, which is, you kind of want your wings to be shooters. He's just kind of got a different type. He's a different type of player than your typical 3s and 4s. So if he is playing the 4, he's a little undersized at 6'7", but at the 3, he's a good size. It's just if he's playing the 3, he's not a great shooter for that. His role I'd expect to be kind of a first forward off the bench. Maybe he could start, especially if his shooting improves this offseason. And my NBA comp for him is, think of like a Kenyon Martin Jr., just someone who's athletic. He's got high energy. He's got some rebounding, and he'll put you on your butt if he really needs to. Yeah, his strengths is just he's a great rebounder. He got 10 boards per 40 minutes last year, and especially at how slow of pace Drake played last year, 10 per 40 is really good. He's a good athletic finisher. He can play above the rim. He's a good lob threat too, honestly, especially he's a good cutter. And defensively is going to be the main thing here. Between him and Cam Manial in the starting lineup, that's a scary look for the defensive side. And I think they're kind of going to be the two guys who kind of not carry us, but are two main guys defensively. Like, I think if you have your best non-big, I think you put Tavian Banks on him, and you're pretty comfortable with that. And then obviously Cam Manial in the best big. Next up, we have Brendan Hassan. We're kind of getting to the big 3 here. So with Brendan, he is a 6'4" shooting guard. He's a senior out of Amarillo, Texas. He transferred here from Villanova and Kansas State. And some weaknesses about him is that he's not the greatest athlete out there. He's not the greatest defender out there. You trust that he's going to work his butt off to become better at that. But don't expect him to be like Big Ten all-defensive team. And he's also just not much of a creator offensively. He's not going to create his own shot. He's not going to play make. And you know what? You can't even hate him for that. That's the same type of player I am offensively. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. Like, he'll come off screens. He'll give you some good shooting. And, his projected role, I expected him to be the starting shooting guard and Iowa's best shooter. He does have a little bit of veteran stability. He's been here before, especially at a Power 5 level. And we have a lot of mid-major guys or guys who haven't played that much, guys who came from high school. He's really the only guy on this team who has a lot of Power 5 experience, so that he should be a leader on this team. His NBA comp, I don't know, between maybe a JJ Redick or like a Duncan Robinson. He's offensively a specialist, and he'll give you some hustle on the defensive end, is what I expect. He's going to have a lot of shooting gravity, I guarantee you that. Defenses are going to think like, oh, like where's Hassan? And he's going to be at the 3-point line, and you're going to have to keep an eye on him at 24/7, because if you give him any space from the 3-point line, you're going to have to pay for it. But yeah, he has 99 games of power conference experience, so that's a really good thing for this team. Some strengths of his, he is an absolute elite 3-point shooter. He's made about 40% for his career, over about almost 200 makes. So that's something you can expect from him, is he's a shooter. Like, he's a scary shooter. He brings that Big East, Big 12 toughness and experience, and he's a floor spacer and is excellent off ball. He knows how to come off screens. He knows how to set screens. You forget about him for a second, which could be easy to do if you're not looking at him with the ball. You misplace him for a second, he's gone, and you just gave up 3 points. So that's a good thing about Brendan Hassan, and I expect him to be kind of our guy when it comes to that. Next up, we have Alvaro Folgueras. He's going to be probably our second guy. He is a 6'10", 230-pound power forward from Spain. Transferred here from Robert Morris, was actually the Horizon League's Player of the Year. Yeah, absolutely. But let's start with some weaknesses. He's got to prove that he can produce at a Big Ten level. He was great at the mid-majors, fantastic at the mid-majors, but got to prove that at a Big Ten level. Very physical tier. And his defense, again, is, especially against elite forwards, elite fours, unproven. We don't really know what that's going to look like at the Big Ten level. And again, I trust Coach Mack to kind of get him ready for that. Just don't expect him to be a force on the defensive end. We are thinking he will be competent on the defensive end, but don't expect him to be a force on that end. His projected role, I think, starting forward, will be kind of the number 2 with the 1-2 punch with Bennett. And I think his NBA comp here is kind of, think of like a Lauri Markkanen, think of a Luis Scola, just a skilled and a crafty forward who can kind of score from all 3 phases. He's a good playmaker. He can pass the ball. He can kind of just do it all on the offensive end. Just needs to prove it on the defensive end. So some strengths of his, obviously a versatile scorer. Can score from all 3 levels. He's got a strong frame. He's a good rebounder, almost great rebounder. And he's a competitive guy. He brings a lot of toughness. Even if he doesn't look the most tough, he kind of has that to him. He's got that edge. You don't become your conference's player of the year if you don't have that. So yeah, moving on to the number 1 guy. This is the guy. Think of Spy Kids. If there is the guy, it's him. Bennett Sturtz. He is a 6'4", 190-pound point guard. He's a senior out of Liberty, Missouri, transferred here from Northwest Missouri State and Drake. So followed Coach Mack to both schools, all 3 schools actually. And he's some weaknesses of him, just like Alvaro, never faced any Big Ten level defenses night by night. He's done good against, think of like Missouri, think they played Texas Tech. But yeah, just the night-by-night grind of the Big Ten, he's going to have to prove he can do that. I'm pretty confident he can, but it's just I can't tell you for certain. He's got to prove that he can maintain this level of production against this more athletic and big level. And he needs to stay healthy. This is the big thing. We don't have a lot of point guard depth, and I don't think Coach Mack really was expecting to have a lot of point guard depth because we have Bennett Sturtz. But yeah, his projected role, he's going to be our primary ball handler. He's going to be our star. He's going to be the engine of this offense. And he needs to be at least an all Big Ten level player for us to find success. Hopefully he can be an All-American type player, and then we can really have some success. But yeah, as far as his player comp goes, I'm thinking somewhere between like a Chris Paul and a Jalen Brunson maybe like a more playmaking Jalen Brunson or more of a scoring Chris Paul. Just a tough guard. He can create offense. Like his main thing's his mind. He can see what's gonna happen like 3-4 seconds. So 3-4 steps, like 6-7 seconds ahead. And yeah, I expect him to create a lot of offense. He will be our main creator, both creating his own shot, creating for others. Probably going to be everyone's best friend when it comes to that. And yeah, some of his strengths. Obviously, the IQ is insane with this guy. His playmaking IQ, his offensive IQ. He's got a lot of scoring versatility. He's proven he can be very efficient, even when moving up a level or 2 levels. His ball handling and his decision making is top tier. Like he's not going to make a lot of mistakes, and he's pretty durable. I mean, he's played almost 40 minutes a night, so he's in championship level shape. So we're pretty confident with that. Bennett Sturtz, hoping he can be All-American. Alvaro Fargaris, I'm hoping he can be All Big Ten. Brendan Hawson, I hope he can at least get some votes for All Big Ten. But yeah, I'm gonna go through real quick and just give you all these guys I think rating if you put them in a video game. Bennett Sturtz I put at a 92. Definitely all Big Ten level. Hopefully he can bump that up to like an All-American level. It's just, yeah, he hasn't proven he can do this at a night-by-night Big Ten basis, which is why I don't put him up to like a 95, 96. Alvaro Fulgaris, I'd give him like an 86 overall. Just, kind of the same thing of like, hey, you're good and you've proven you're good, but can you do it at a Big Ten level? Hoping that can bump up to like an 89. Brendan Hawson, I'd give him like an 84. I think that's fair because he's proven he can do it against Power 5 level competition. And yeah, I'd give him an 84. Cam Manuel, I'd give him like a 79, like a good role player. Just does his job. You know exactly what you're getting out of him. I'd give him a 79. And Tavian Banks, I'd give him like a 78, just like a high-level role player as well. We're getting out of him. Cooper Koch, also like a 78, just a versatile, like two-way player. Yeah, 78 is good for him. Trey Thompson, I'm thinking 76. I think he can crack the rotation this year and just kind of provide us of a spark of like athleticism. Kel Combs, like a 74, kind of a fringe rotation guy. I feel comfortable if Sturtz goes out for some reason and we need to bring him in. I can see him kind of being like that steady hand who's not going to make a lot of mistakes, but also isn't going to be super flashy or anything of that sense. Isaiah Howard, I give like a 74, just because again, like if he comes in and he's hot, like we are good to go. But just the consistency, I have some questions there, which is why I put him at a 74. Trevin Urach, 73. I think he will blossom. Give it a year or two. But for now, it's just, can he do what he does at a high enough level in the Big Ten? And I'd say probably not enough he'll be in the rotation just out of the fact that we don't have a lot of bigs that can play at this level. But for now, I'd give him like a 73. Tate Sage, I think everyone else you could put in like the low 70s, high 60s. It's just, I think they're all either freshmen or sophomores. Yeah, they're all freshmen or sophomores. It's just, I don't know if you can trust them quite yet at the Big Ten level, but they're more of a developmental piece in this team. But yeah, that's what the ratings I would give, and that's how I feel about this whole roster. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been a blast. Again, this is more of a serious pod of just really breaking down things and having some fun with that. But thank you everyone for joining. I truly appreciate the support. We hope some big things are on the horizon here at Bench Mob Carver, and more importantly, I hope there's some big things coming for the Iowa Hawkeyes men's basketball team. So thank you all for joining me. God bless, and go Hawks.